So now, one of the hardest things to do is to actually calculate the break even when we have more than one product. So this is it's not complex, it's a little finicky. And so we have to be super careful that we understand how to do this. So here we've got a company that produces and sells yoga training products, how-to DVDs, and basic equipment sets, blocks, straps, and small pillows. Last year, they sold 10,000 DVDs and 5,000 equipment sets. Information on the two products is as follows. So the price is $12, variable cost is $4 for the DVDs. Equipment sets, price is $15, variable cost is $6. Total fixed costs are $70,000. What is the sales mix of DVDs and equipment sets? So first, we want to look at the sales mix. So we can see that, so here we go. We're doing sales mix first. We do see that we have DVDs and they sell 10,000. And in this case, we have equipment sets, right? Let's just do E sets. Equipment sets are 5,000. We want to take it to its lowest common denominator. So if I take this and I divide it by 1,000, I can see it's 10. If I take this and divide it by that same 1,000, it's now 5. If I take this and divide it by 5, it's now 2. If I take this and divide it by 5, it's now 1. So for every 2 DVDs, I sell 1 E-set. So keep in mind when you're looking at the sales mix, you want to bring it down to the lowest common denominator. It's a lot easier to calculate if we do that. Compute the break-even quantity for each product. Now, I see lots of errors on the midterm, on the homework, and on the final exam. I see lots of problems because students don't know how to calculate this. So let's just walk through the process together. What we want to do is we want to look at the products, okay? And we want to look at the price per unit. We want to look at the variable cost per unit. That's going to get us the contribution margin per unit. And then what we have to do is we have to multiply it by the sales mix. And that will get us our total contribution margin. So let's start. We're going to start with the DVDs. The selling price of DVDs is $12, variable cost is 4. So we got 12, 4. 12 minus 4 is going to get me my contribution margin per unit, which is 8. I'm going to take the sales mix. How many DVDs do I have to sell? 2 for every 1 equipment set. So now I take that contribution margin and I multiply it by 2. There we go. We got 16. Now, let's do the E sets. We know the price is 15 and 6. So $15, $6 for variable costs. We're going to calculate the contribution margin. It's 9. How many units do we have to sell for every 2 DVDs? We only sell 1. So I take the 9 and I multiply it by the 1 and it's equal to 9. So now if I add these two together, this is equal to the total contribution margin. I like to call this the basket contribution margin. So why do I call it the basket contribution margin? Because every time I sell 2 DVDs, I sell 1 equipment set. So you can think about that as kind of a basket. And in that basket are 2 DVDs and 1 equipment set. So when the company sells one of those baskets of 2 DVDs and 1 equipment set, they're earning $25. That's the combined contribution margin of the 2 DVDs and 1 equipment set. So now I want to find my break even in baskets. This is going to be equal to the fixed costs divided by the basket contribution margin, right? So if I want to find the break even in baskets, what am I going to do? I'm going to take the fixed costs, which they told me was 70,000. And I'm going to divide it by the contribution margin per basket, which is $25. This will tell me how many baskets I have to sell. I have to sell 2,800 baskets. Now, how many DVDs will I sell if I sell 2,800 baskets? I'm going to sell those 2,800 baskets, but I also have to multiply it by the number of DVDs in each basket. 2. There's 2 DVDs in each basket. That means if I sell 2,800 baskets, I'm going to sell 5,600 units of DVDs. Similarly, when I look at the E-sets, I'm going to sell 2,800 baskets. I'm going to multiply it by how many E-sets are in each basket, 1. So that means I'm going to sell, if I sell all those baskets of goods, I'm going to sell 2,800 units of E-sets. Okay. So the key here is understanding that when I'm selling 2 DVDs, I'm selling 1 E-set, and it's the same as selling a basket. This is probably one of the more difficult concepts.